And we welcome you, and thank you very much indeed for coming.
Okay, thank you. Okay, hello everyone. As mentioned, my name is Zhenyu Zheng, and I'm from the openEuler community. And openEuler is also one of the top sponsors for these events. And I guess you guys might heard the word openEuler in the past, in the next few days a lot. And we have a booth. One of the biggest booths in the exhibition area, and actually, as mentioned, I have been working on different open source projects, but I'm quite new to the CCC confidential computing technologies. I only served as the outreach committee member for CCC for only like 2 months, so I guess I can see that everyone in this room knows confidential computing better than me, so I'm not going to show off my slight skills in front of you guys. So I'm more like introducing the openEuler community and what we have done in the confidential computing area. And as mentioned in the first starting up topic, CCC is currently looking to do more activities in the Asia Pacific area. So we are from the Asia Pacific area as a community, and we have a lot of activities and events. So that's what we're thinking, that we can do it together and both increase the visibility of the confidential computing things. And so what is openEuler? Actually, we are an open source operating system and other projects incubated and operated by the Open Atom Foundation, which is a very fast growing community and foundation in the Asia area. And our vision is to provide an open source OS for the global digital infrastructure. And our, as I mentioned, we are not only an operating systems. We actually have a lot of innovation projects, which includes CCC confidential computing related stuff. So one of my topic today is to show what we have done here, and probably we can get some cooperation on both technology and community stuff. And so actually we have already have a lot of users and installations in various areas. Like we have over about almost 2 million, I think, community users, and we have over 4 million installations. Considering we have only started the community for about 3 years, just over 3 years, so I think these numbers can be very good. And as you can see, we have users from all kinds of scenarios and use cases, and that's why we think that openEuler is can be very attractive to communities and technologies who wants to expand their use cases in the Asia area. Sorry. So actually, what are our technology advantages comparing to all the other open source OSs? What we are thinking about is that we are trying to combine all the use cases, scenarios for one OS, because we have this information technology OS, which is basically the OS we can talk about is maybe CentOS or Ubuntu or other stuff like that. And we also have OS that is built for the communication technologies, which are more real-time thing and others. And we have also the operational technologies, which mostly likely for the embedded or IoT stuff is more real-time thing. And actually we are thinking about, because one thing for the current state is you both have, for example, you both have a database for the IT technology, which could be MariaDB or MySQL or something else, and you have another DB technology for the communication technology. They could be similar, but there always be some big difference. So we have a lot of the soft chimneys for the similar applications. So our idea is if we can build one OS for facilitated scenarios applications, we can make use of those applications, do not build replicas for each other. So, and another for the source part is that we are trying to do one OS for various devices, like for server, cloud, edge, and embedded. I know that there are also some OSs that can do that, but actually in our community, we are trying to provide a tool that you can easily called Euler Maker, and you can easily pick which components you want and build up your own operating system for your own devices and scenarios. Like you want a very small OS, you don't have to wait for the OS vendor to provide it for you. You can build up it easily for your with our tool for your own use cases, and that's what we are trying to do here. And we have another more like device, remote device operating system is called openHarmony. It's also incubated with the Open Atom Foundation. So we have a soft bus which can connect very fast. It's more like a job, AirDrop thing. You can connect to the device very fast with openEuler. So it's more like your Linux device can connect to an Android device very fast, more like that. But both of them are started from scratch. So as I mentioned, we have a lot of innovation projects. We actually have over 400 innovation projects. It's more like to be honest, it's not like projects. It's over 400 repos, but sometimes one project can have different components, but I can say that it's still over 100 innovation projects. And OS as an OS, we consider security as one of the very fundamental things. So we have several projects in the security part. One is the thing I want to mention today is the secGear. Is a computational computing framework, and we have other things like secPaver and the IMA. Actually, we are trying to provide a full stack or out-of-box use for our customers or users. So we are doing, our community is doing things from the hardware layer to the application layer. So we have a full stack of those things. And you can see that we have already supported diverse computing power empowerment. We can support ARM686, and we can support x86, and we also have a very good support for RISC-V things. And if you want to push your technologies in, I say, China, there are a lot of China-based architectures you may want to adopt. So we have already supported those in our OS. So what you only have to consider about your application layer or libraries. So that's the whole picture, part of the whole picture of the openEuler innovation projects. And actually, I'm only actually, you can see from my past work experience, I previously worked on the cloud computing and virtualization thing, and actually I'm not an expert on most of those projects, but we, as I mentioned, we have a booth downstairs, and we have come about 20 experts this time. So if you guys want to know anything about openEuler and other innovation projects, and you are welcome to our booth and discuss with our experts there. Yeah. And I think after, because when I there are still some Chinese there. When I prepared this material, these slides, I was thinking that I can do some deeper talk about this, but when I sit there listening to all the previous presentations, I think, oh, those are hardcore people. So I'm not going to talk about too many about this because I think everyone in this room knows what those are. We have just implemented most of the things should be implemented for the computational computing in our secGear framework, and we have actually what I can share is that we have I bring two use cases today that we already use secGear as their computational computing technology in their deployments. So I think that's what I can share today. So this one I'm not going to go to depths about this. So you can see we have security channel, we have remote attestation, and we have some dev kits for users to be easily adapt or developers to easily develop computational computing applications, and that's what we have done. And so this is an example about how our development tool can easily make the developers' life more easily. You can see that, as I mentioned, our OS is aimed to for different or mixed architectures. So I think that's also one of the mainstream in China or Asia. I think mainstream in China is to support multiple architectures because for some reasons we cannot only use x86 architecture. So so if you want to promote technologies in China, you have to consider multi-architecture things. So one of the challenges is to sometimes you have to code twice or for three times for different architecture, especially for technologies that are more related to the hardware, as computational computing is really closely related to the hardware. So it could be very common to program or compile twice for different architecture. And for our secGear, we have provided a simplified API for different architecture, and it's already done inside in the secGear. And if you follow the API or SDK or rules, you can have similar experience for both Intel and ARM x86 programming experience. So I think this one is switchless is one of the, I don't know whether this is a very innovative thing or not, but we can provide a 10 times performance increase on the ARM x64 platform. We can optimize the RE and TE interact performance by using shared memory to reduce the context switching in the application. And also we can reduce the data copying for that. We have a use case show about this later. Also, we have implemented the secure channel to provide the end-to-end protection for our data. And I think this graph shows very clearly what we have done. And I think this is also quite common in the computational computing technologies. So I'm not going to talk too much detail about it. and it's quite common. So I will share two use cases in China, and actually they are quite large deployments. And I can see that the first one is actually is a certificate agency from Beijing. Actually, it's one of the very important department. So they use this technology to provide an agile and distributed service based on secGear. So we can see that the cryptographic model is built based on, we have this ARM64 server or chip called Kunpeng, and it can provide some optimized or speed up with its hardware, and they can provide this TEE environment. And we have this openEuler computational computing software stack, and all the servers provided the service at the same time. So we have very big performance which can be comparing with the, when you use the hardware encryption machine, we can be compatible with that. So this is a very good solution for cost saving thing and performance thing, and especially for the cloud applications. Yeah, as mentioned here, first you need the professional equipment and remote services, and the abilities are fixed. But after using this, we can provide the similar performance with general equipment and in the local service, and we can iteration the applications very agile. So, and another use case is that we use our, still it's based on Kunpeng TEE, and we provide a condensed database with all these technologies. We can see that we implemented a full function SQL query and calculation of data ciphertext through technical means, and completely solve the problem of data privacy leakage on the cloud and trust of third-party services. Our idea of solution is to use the physical isolation or logical isolation of plaintext computing space and use access control to make computing and data invisible to outside world to prevent the data leakage. As you can see, we still uses the whole secGear stack with the operators and encrypted data management and the switchless with zero switch to provide a very good performance of this solution. I'm not able to share detailed data because, detailed data about these solutions, but because confidential computing technology is always used for, authorized departments. So I cannot share detailed data, but I can say that those two use cases have a lot of very big deployments, and it's very important in China. And I think they are using our secGear, which means that they believe our secGear is both performance and shows very good in both performance and security. So I think that's all for my slides. And as I mentioned, I'm not a computational computing expert, and but I'm still learning, and I think we can cooperate more in the Asia area. And after that, I think I'll be more confidential computing professional, and we can discuss more about the technologies. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. I made the worst mistake you can make. I pronounced your name right, but I pronounced the name openEuler wrong. So I'm sorry, it is openEuler. I have a problem with Euler, the mathematician's name. So thank you. Any questions? Oh, we've got one. immediately from Paul.
I also apologize. I pronounced openEuler wrong this morning also as well, so I learned something new. I didn't know about this project. It looks really interesting. I said at the start that we need to open more confidential computing in Asia.
Yes.
I exclude PRC from that or China from that because it's a hotbed for confidential computing as it is. You've shown deployments in China. What about the rest of Asia? Do you have a plan to sort of penetrate the rest of Asia with this? Is there some sort of strategic plan for that? And if there is what can the Confidential Computing Consortium help to drive that penetration for you? Because it does look like a fairly compact solution, right?
Yeah, actually we have, as you can see that I think most of you guys did not heard about openEuler before, and we are trying to be more global, so that's why we are here. And so also in the, as you guys mentioned Singapore, right? We also started a lot of activities in Singapore, and we have also connected several banks, I think, in Singapore, and we are promoting openEuler as a whole, so they can select all the projects they want to use in their projects. And I think the things like secGear is one of the plans or deployments that they could use in their deployments. And actually, we are doing this with all the. We have actually, I did not show it yet. We have a lot of partners and members in the openEuler community. And actually, because we are, or myself, we are from the community, we are only doing open source stuff. And they are like doing our business offering, depend on our open source projects, and they are doing those selling and deployments.
I think this is a great example of one of the. I know that for certain countries it's difficult to be doing work with Huawei or other folks in the PRC. Doing stuff in the open source, the LF makes that possible, and
Yes.
and it really get brilliant collaboration.
Yes, yes.
So I'm really pleased, and I'm going to be going to KubeCon in Shanghai next week. If anyone else is going to be there, I shall see you. But any other questions? I've got loads. Okay, let's go with that.
Yeah, this is more of a question, comment and encouragement to. So, fragmentation of hardware is a fact, and it's increasingly we see different types of hardware in the landscape, both due to technical and other reasons, and that's why it's even more important to. And I encourage you to get involved into like the standardization activities around confidential computing. Because I'm thinking right now like ITF, TEEP, RATS, so the two work groups where a lot is happening. I think quite a lot there is kind of centered on x86 just because. In some cases it matters, in some cases it doesn't, but it's really, really good to bring this perspective that there are other architectures and there are other ways of doing things. So I really encourage you to get involved and improve standards in this way.
Yeah, I will try.
Yeah, so don't just stay in the outreach committee. Come to all the committees. That's what we're saying. That's great. Usama, you have.
I was just wondering that you mentioned secure channel and remote attestation in one of the slides. So I was wondering if you have any technical details on whether you are using here the RATLS protocol, or do you know some details about the technical, how these two protocols are composed together?
I cannot answer those questions right now, but I can send you the details you wanted to you, because I want to share some details, but actually, as I mentioned, we are just going global, and some of our data and materials are in Chinese, so I did not put any QR codes here, because as I checked, our first page is in English with the secGear, and all the other pages are still in Chinese, so I cannot.
I'm sure Osama can translate any Chinese that we. That answer your question?
Yeah, thanks.
Right.
Yeah.
Any other questions? So, yep.
Maybe just a short question about how you mentioned that you are open to discussion and your security experts and CC related experts are there for discussion. So how can one contribute to your projects, or are you open to other community
Yes,
members
yes.
contributing? Specifically, academics, are you open
Yes,
to
yes, yes.
contributing without membership? Let's say.
Yeah. We have. Sorry, I don't have the. Let me check. Maybe I have. Actually, yeah, forget. We actually have members, but we are because as mentioned, I've been working on other communities for 8 years, and we know how open source community should be like, and we are running this community as an real open source community. So everyone is okay to contribute, and we have already. I have to say over 3,000 developers have contributed code, and over 10,000 contributors have raised issues or anything. So everyone is able to contribute, and we are working on the infrastructure to be able to work, because our code is hosted on a Chinese vendor, because we have already put it there, and the code is very, very large. It's not easy to move it directly to GitHub, so we are still doing that, and I think people can contribute to that easily. Yeah.
I have one last question, if I may, which is you showed some framework, the secGear framework.
Yes.
What languages does that support, and what does openEuler support for compilers?
The secGear is in C, and we have we support almost every compilers. We can do with GCC, and we can do with RVM, and we also do have projects in Rust.
Excellent. So if anyone has any Fortran or COBOL or Algol 68, no, we wouldn't. Well, thank you very much indeed. Any final thing? That's great. Really appreciate it. Really interesting.